everyone. So I'm making this video to invite you to an online session tomorrow evening, Friday, January 31st, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the topic is how to have ease and joy with exams. Now, this is an online session. It's open to students as well as parents, and you can join in. We will be doing it over Zoom, and you can join in from any part in the world. Short introduction to how we created the session. So last week my friend Palak actually called me up and said, hey, will you do a session on ease and joy with exams? And I was like, okay. She said it's exam time and everyone's getting stressed out and there's a lot of stress around, and I just feel like this would be something would be of use. And I am actually a management faculty and I do corporate training. So I was like, I don't really coach students or parents, and I was like, okay, interesting, let's do this. And it sounded exciting, and I think the excitement was for me personally only because I have had a very different reality with exams all my life. I've enjoyed exams. They've been fun for me when I was a student and I was in college and all of that. So I was like, exams sounds like a nice topic. And as it starts happening, as I created a post and we started, thinking about what to do. And last evening I was chatting with my husband and we were having discussions. And in my head, I was mainly going to structure this call around the flow experience and how we can have flow in exams, because that's something that I always had. And the flow experience, if you've not heard of it, it's also called being in the zone or the peak experience. Very famous in the sports world, where in order to peak performance, you want to be in the zone during a match or a tournament. Increasingly, and actually for the last 20 years, it's also been very popular in the corporate world. And so I actually conduct corporate trainings on how to get executives and people into flow, how to experience flow at work. And I realized that I was someone who constantly experienced flow during exams. And I was like, aha, so the flow state is actually a good alternative to being in the stressed and panicked state, because you're happy, you're enjoying it, and actually performance peaks as well. And so when I was discussing this with my husband, he was like, hey, you know what, it's easy for you to say that when you were a good student, but think about someone who is like not a good student, okay, not getting great marks, and how do you experience flow? And I was like, no, this is not about being a good student or not, because believe me, when I was studying electrical engineering in IT, I was not a good student. I was pretty much scraping to get through the exams, and I didn't like the subject, so I wasn't good. I wasn't scoring necessarily well in all the subjects, and yet every exam, on the exam day, I would be like, today, how can we have fun? How can we give it our best, irrespective of how much we know and what we've prepared? I'm going to use a word that many people don't like, but game it, but game it in an ethical way. So how do we sort of crack the exam and have fun and get those marks? So one of the things, key requirements to experience flow, by the way, is a balance between the skill level and the challenge level. And we will be talking more about this in the call and how we can create this for ourselves, even if the environment automatically is not creating that for us. When I was walking my dog this morning, I started getting even more and more downloads, literally downloads of ideas on what to include in this call. And because I'm very excited, and I am excitable by nature, and I cannot wait till tomorrow. I'm just going to give you a primer on some of these ideas and what they are. One of which was our approach to marks and kids' approach to marks, right? So now I was someone who was, as a kid, I was chasing marks. I loved marks. I wanted marks. I was like, marks, I want great marks. And of course, that I did what it took to get those marks. Now, I do realize a lot of kids don't have that, right? They don't want marks. They're suspicious about marks. And why does that happen? So to give you an insight about that, so a couple of months back, we adopted a cute little puppy. She's not around here right now, but when we were training her, we actually hired a puppy trainer to help us, and he was training us with her. And when we were teaching her the fetch game, for example, right? So how do you play fetch with a puppy? You throw something, and then when the puppy brings it back, and then you say, good. So her name is Zara. You say, good girl, Zara. And you really over emote, and you're, wow, good girl, Zara. And you pet her and stroke her, and you're so excited. And then the puppy learns that, oh, okay, I'm supposed to bring this back. It could be a hanky, it could be a ball, it could be a toy. And one of the things that the puppy trainer, he's amazing, his name is Karthik, by the way, he's really good. He really made us understand was that the value of a toy for the puppy is only as much value as you put in it, right? So you really play with the hanky. or a keychain, and you get really curious and excited about it. The puppy thinks this is something really exciting, and you get really excited when the puppy brings back that hanky that you've thrown, and the puppy says, ah. Why? Because it's not natural for the puppy to go pick a hanky and bring it back to you, right? And one day when I was playing with the puppy, I was like, good girl, Sarah, and she was bringing back the hanky. I just had this image of me as a little girl running back home to my mother, like, with my mark sheet and my mummy, some 9 on 10 or 10 on 10 or the stars by the teacher. And my mom was like, good girl, Ramya. Or, doing something and the teacher's expression saying, good girl. So as a kid, what you want is really, you don't want marks. What do marks mean to you, right? What do grades mean to you? You can't eat them, you can't play with them, but you want something else. You want that appreciation or excitement. So to cut a long story short, we are creatures of conditioning, and we get conditioned. And of course, I happened to get conditioned, and I was, maybe I'm a little buddhu or dumb. I was like, okay to get manipulated and conditioned into wanting marks and getting the marks. And so it just became a game for me. Would I do that in hindsight? Blah, blah, that's another story. But a lot of kids today can see through that manipulation, right? So they're actually aware. And this is where sometimes children can be very aware that marks and grades can be used for manipulation. They're often used for control. If you don't get good marks, I won't get you this toy, I won't get you this holiday, I won't love you. So marks and grades can be used for manipulation, they can be used for control, they can be used for judgment, they can be used to put kids in a box and say, you're section A, you're B, you're good, you're bad. And you're right, you're wrong, right? And to marks can also be used to abuse kids in some cases. And basically, do you think children like that? Do you think they like to be controlled and manipulated and judged and abused and labeled and put in boxes? Their own awareness tells them that no, we're just fine as we are, we're great, we're cute, we don't want. And so, because they associate marks somewhere in their head, and I'm not saying this is true for all kids, but it can be true for many kids, right? So because in their heads, they're associating the marks with the manipulation and judgment and control and labeling and all of that. They're like, I don't even want this. I don't want to be a slave for marks. I don't want to play this. Marks are dirty. You're using it to control and manipulate me. I won't even do this. I will be my independent self. And so at one level, they are trying to study it, get those marks. At one level, they're saying marks are dirty. These are the things that are used to control and manipulate and judge me. And I don't know. And that's a conflict inside. And we can understand the conflict, right? Because there is the independent and finite being that says, no, I don't want to be judged and controlled and manipulated. And then there's the part of them that, yeah, but as a kid, I have to go to school, I have to get the marks and all of that. And there's so much conflict, and that can show up in your preparation for exams and, of course, the way you experience exams. So that's another thing that we will be talking about in this call, and how to overcome it. And really, it's about letting go of judgments. And we have some great tools from Access Consciousness, actually, that help us literally get rid of conditioning and judgments. And we're going to use that. The third point that I'm going to talk about in this call is about managing our energy on the morning of exams. And this is again something that I just sort of always did naturally. Like even in IIT, where I had not prepared at all and I had not studied, I knew nothing. On the morning of the exam, my hostel mates will all vouch for this. On the morning of the exam, instead of studying, I would go to the terrace and do Surya Namaskar, because I had realized by then that when I do Surya Namaskar, I am like completely there, right? My energy, same when I was studying at IIM, I was a better student at IIM. I studied a little more. I would prepare, but on the morning of the exam, again, I would go to the terrace, and yes, my hostel mates would also can vouch for this. I would go to the terrace and I would do my Surya Namaskar, and that was a time when I was very diligent with Surya Namaskar. I'm not so much now, but whatever rituals that you want to put in place to manage not just your mind, because it's not just your mind that determines how well you actually can do that, and I think you would know this, your body, your physical well-being, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, how good you're feeling. I teach positive psychology, I teach managing energy, and I've been doing that for the last 10 years. Lots of research that shows us how we feel. Happy, there's a lovely talk, by the way, if you want to look it up, called The Happiness Advantage, how when we're happier, our brains think better, we perform better, right? Lots of research on that. So managing physical energy, emotional energy, mental energy, of course, you want to be clear, not distracted, and energy of the spirit, or who you are, why you're doing that, and really your own purpose and feeling and connection. And if you can really crack that before the exam, you take your best self and all your energy and you can challenge it into cracking those problems, whatever they are, whatever subject, right? Now, The fourth thing that I'm going to talk about is actually related to something called mirror neurons. And those of you who have attended my other sessions in management training, for example, would know how much I always talk about mirror neurons. I've talked about it in my TED talk as well, because of the simple reason that we think that we are individual and all our thoughts and emotions and all are ours, but actually we're like these sponges, psychic sponges, and our brains are mirroring the emotions and thoughts of everyone around us. So when you're answering exam in school or college, are you alone? No, you have a ton of batchmates and people with you. They're all answering the same exam. Some of them are getting stressed. Some of them are getting panicky. And how much is your brain actually mirroring all their stress, their panic, their emotion, and you think it's yours, and you're like, oh, and you live it. Once you think it's yours, you experience it's just yours. So a bit like mirror neurons is like being in a cricket stadium. Everyone's excited about the match. You feel the adrenaline, movie theater, right? The heroine's crying, you feel the sorrow. So it's just like that. You're in riots. Everyone's angry. You don't know why you're angry, but you're angry. Yes, I have experienced riots. So Anna Stampede. Similarly, you're in the exam hall, everyone's stressed, and then you're just being stressed. How do you get over it? We have a lovely tool actually from Access Consciousness called Who Does It Belong To? We'll talk about that. There's also stuff that you can use from psychology on managing this, and we'll talk about that as well. And related to the same thing about mirror neurons is also the thing of conformity. And here again, there's tons of research in psychology, and if you're interested, and if you don't make it to my talk, you can look up experiments by Ash experiment by Solomon Ash if you want. It's on YouTube, and basically what it shows is that, okay, so parents would know this. You got talk about peer pressure, right? You want to do all what your friends are doing. Everyone's doing something, so you think it's right. Well, this actually happens in the brain. There are two ways of conformity. There's conscious conformity, there's unconscious conformity. Conscious conformity is when everyone's doing this, I don't want to be the outsider. So everyone's saying exam is tough, exam is distressful. I don't want to go and say, easy doing with exam. Exam is like a party and game, a tournament for me. They'll all laugh at me and they'll be an outcast. So that's conscious conformity. You don't want to do that. And I faced that as a kid, right? Because I used to like exams. So I never really spoke about this to my friends. And in front of them, I would also pretend to be stressed, but actually inside, I'm really excited for the exam. The second kind of conformity is unconscious conformity, and that's the other thing to look out for, which is and that's where the Solomon Ash experiments show us some brilliant stuff, where you put people in a room and you show them like lines of a certain length, and you ask them to say which is the shortest. The right answer is obvious. You think it's obvious, but when a bunch of people give the wrong answer, wrong, around 35 to 40% of people, right, your brain actually changes your perception and sense making to make you think that the wrong answer is actually the right answer, right? So we've seen this. Just because like everyone is saying something, we start saying, oh, our brain starts thinking, oh, that must be the right answer, and it actually changes its sense making. Yeah. Lots of research here on social science. I want to keep this video short. So we're also going to talk about conformity and how that, then how do you deal with that conformity and peer pressure. If you want to have a relationship, or you want to have a reality of exams being different, because the dominant reality, the majority of people on this planet, there is, and it's just a dominant paradigm that exams are stressful, they're a pain, they're a bother, and this is there for kids. And for parents, a dominant reality is that maybe parents also realize the futility of marks and the uselessness. Ye kyo karna marks? Kya hai isme? Kya rakha hai? All of that, right? And what happens to mirror neurons? Then the kids pick up, right? So you're like, kya rakha? It's just a show, it's just a farce. I just have to do it. And that's okay. There might be some truth in that. But the thing is, you can get excited and have fun with exams. And why not do that, right? And then you get the results as a side effect, of course. But my point of view is, if you can have fun with anything, why not have it? Like whether it be a party, whether it be a picnic, a vacation, your job, or exams. So if you want to have ease and joy with exams, without buying into the significance of the exams and the marks and the labels, but just have fun with it. And as a result of that fun, actually have the side effect of your performance going up, why not? I invite you to the session tomorrow, and I hope to see some of you there. And those who don't make it to the session, I am definitely going to write a book on this. So this morning I was so much in flow, putting down all these points. I was like, oh my God, I have so much content on this topic. I could do a 3-credit course. And my husband said, why don't you write a book? And so book is coming. So if you don't make it tomorrow, you can wait a year maybe. I don't know. And there will be a book on the same topic. So I'll see you sometime around, maybe in this session or somewhere else. Have a lovely day and have fun with whatever you're doing, whether it's exams or work, because why not?